What's going on, y'all? Podcast episode 80. We're officially in the 80s. Officially in the 80s. Hope everyone's doing well. Hope everyone's having a good week so far. It's Wednesday. And April is flying by, man. I'll tell you that. It's pretty crazy. We're just, I'm just out here, baby. Just out here doing the damn thing. Yeah, man, it's been a weird month for us personally. Just dealing with some family stuff. Just dealing with life, you know. I had to kind of take a step back from music and creating in general to handle the life that's been thrown at us. It's not a bad thing. Sometimes it's just what has to happen, you know. And life doesn't care what you have planned, you know. Life doesn't care necessarily about the timing that you see fit in your mind, you know. Life is gonna life, and sometimes you have to pause and handle those responsibilities that life throws at you. And I know I'm kind of like beating around the bush, and the only reason why is because we haven't came out on the other side of it yet. We haven't won just yet. We don't know the outcome just yet, so I'd rather just keep it at that for right now. And as soon as I have a solid outcome or update, I will definitely see it right to talk about it then. But yeah, man. One thing that I've really kind of been thinking about recently is just how important people are in our lives, the right people, because the right people around you can literally save your life. They can heal you. They can uplift you. They can give you more life, They can just give you more power, more love, if you have the right people around you. And that's the one thing that's kind of been weighing on me recently, is just keeping the right people around me, because literally the right people can keep you alive. It's just wild to think about. Like I said, my family is going through a health scare right now with one of our family members. So much so that, we're relying on these doctors to keep our family member going. And, there's beauty in that. It just shows you, keeping the right people around you can literally keep you alive. But I also think the opposite is true as well, When you keep the wrong people around you, they can bring stress into your life, bring death, bring just negative energy into your life. And that's definitely not what you want. So keeping the right people around is crucial. It's crucial. And, of course, here I am telling you something that you probably already know, but that's just kind of been on my mind recently. And if you think about, as far as like music, me, I always relate things back to music. Keeping the right team around you can help you achieve your goals, and that's came true for me in so many different ways with music. So yeah, man, just been out here, baby. Sometimes it's easier to talk and get things out than other times. And I just feel recently like it's been harder for me. I feel like especially with this health scare, I've kind of had to pause on my emotions and kind of like just go into survival mode, for my family. Because certain, responsibilities have been passed to me. And that was definitely expected, and that's kind of going to be how it is, at least for the time being. But it's tough, man. Sometimes you have to adjust, and for me, I don't really do well like that. I feel like when that happens, or when something comes up, and I have to really put my focus on that. Sometimes I feel like I let my emotions and my feelings I put them off to the side. Because to me, it's like if I try to handle that on top of all the other responsibilities, being a dad, being a husband, being, just being a good, solid family member, that's my main focus. So it's like I feel like I can't really handle my emotions properly right now. And I feel like that's unhealthy, I know that's unhealthy. That's one thing I'm trying to get better at, I guess, is just balancing everything. But it is tough, man. Some days are easier than others, and I just have realized like this week's been kind of tough. The past couple weeks have been pretty tough, actually, I will say. Just trying to handle my emotions properly and handle my feelings properly. Of course, and it goes back to keeping the right people around you, making sure that you're talking with your people, and for me that's my bad, my phone storage went out, and I was sitting there talking to myself there for a minute, but yeah, man, like I was saying, it just goes back to keeping the right people around you. And for me recently, I've been able to kind of connect with my mom in that way, just kind of tell her how I feel, and I realized I haven't been able to do that in quite some time. So that has been nice, just kind of reconnecting with mom. But yeah, man, it's all a process. It's all just part of the journey. And as much as I beat myself up over putting music off to the side, it just makes it's a reminder of like, damn, look how far we've come, instead of trying to look at how far we have to go and how far we're getting behind and this and that. Just look how far we've come, and it makes me appreciate like my music, my albums. It makes me appreciate those because all of those albums came out of like times that at the time I didn't think I would be able to get out of. And not every time was like a struggle, or so to speak, but it's all just part of the story. It's part of the journey that I get to live, and I should be more thankful for that. So yeah, man, just trying to do the best I can, and I think that's all that matters. I think we get too caught up in this rat race of time, and trying to get the most out of time as possible. I feel like when we try to manhandle time, it ends up manhandling us as a result. When you're trying to cram as much as you can in the time that you have, I feel like time just starts to fuck you a little bit, It starts to take you over, and then you become overwhelmed. And then when you're overwhelmed, you have to get back to a place where you're just like okay with just being in the present moment, just being okay, So you might as well just be that way at all times instead of trying to conquer time. You can't conquer time. You can't conquer something that isn't real. So you just have to be okay with being okay. It's tough, man. It really is. Especially when you feel like you're getting behind. Like for me personally, I'm like, shit. I'm in my 30s. Did I waste my 20s? Not living the life that I want, or that I see I should have lived. And it's just not okay to think like that. We have to be right in the moment. One thing I've heard recently is everything is right now. Everything is right now. In fact, I'm pretty sure I heard that off of Winnie the Pooh. Everything is right now. And we just have to be okay. We have to be okay with not being okay. I don't want to speak so much negative that the negative actually overtakes me, especially in a life situation or a health scare with a family member. It's like, yeah, we can sit here and worry about the worst possible outcomes, but that's not going to help anything. So we just have to be okay with where we're at right now, because that's where we're at. Life is life, man. It's life, and you're gonna go through ups and downs, but at the end of the day, it's like, what can I do right now that's just going to make me okay with right now? And maybe that's not the best way to look at it. I don't know, but yeah, man, I just feel like I'm doing the best I can. And who knows, man, maybe one day I'll look back and be like, damn, you did do the best you could, and the best you could led to the life of your dreams. Sometimes I look back at the person I was 5 years ago and just think like, damn, I'm proud of where I'm at. proud of the person I've become, the man I've become. You know? I think if you can admit that, you're doing a good job. You know? So everything is right now, baby. But yeah, man. I'll stop rambling. Much love. Happy episode 80. We finally made it. 80 episodes in. It's pretty crazy. I just want to thank you. Thanks for listening. Thanks for the support. I love you. And yeah, man. Much love. Peace.